What's going on, guys? This is Induced Rhino here, back for another brand new commentary series in Forza Horizon 2. So yes, I did want to start a brand new series in Forza Horizon 2 just to squeeze in one more series before Forza 6 comes out, because the car comparison series did start off pretty well but didn't get that popular with the third and fourth part. But yeah, let's just start off with a new series and the last ever series of Forza Horizon 2. And we are just going to be in this series probably taking a look at the history of different types of cars in this game, taking a look at all the different generations, all the generations this game has, and seeing how they have changed and evolved. And of course, in this episode, we start off, of course, with one of the best Japanese sports cars and one of the world's best two-seater roadsters, and that is, of course, the Mazda MX-5. Wonderful, gorgeous little roadster. Okay, so yes, we're gonna take a look at the NA, which is the first generation one, the NB, which is the second generation one, the ND, which is the fourth generation one, and the third generation one, which is in a different category. Oh, I should have just put the categories together, but here we go, it's in the track toys. It's not a JDM. Here we go. The NC, which is the third generation one. So we're just going to take a look at all these generations, giving them a little drive, looking at the interior and exterior and seeing how they have changed and evolved. And of course, we start off with the NA. So we'll hop into it, take a look at the interior and exterior, take it for a drive, and then we take a look at the others and see how they've evolved. And yes, you just saw this car, the first MX-5, had those nice retractable headlights. Yeah, I think they're alright. Anyway, starting off at the back, so we got nice simple looking back. We got nice little gorgeous wing there. Got simple little tail lights, like two identical lights in there. Well, not really identical, but the same shape. And it's the same on the other side. And we got that brake light there. Miata badge there. Oh no, Miata badge there, sorry, what am I saying? Mazda badge there. Okay, the sides, we got a pretty simple side. Those rims, not sure about those baby looking rims, shaped like a sun and just the colour. But I do like those decent little looking door handles, just silver metal, aluminium, and they're small. Which I like about a small car, but just opening it, and those rear view mirrors. Shape of them and the way they're at just looks gorgeous. I actually really like the rear view mirrors. And going to that that baby face, because we got the radiator grille there of like a baby sleeping with its mouth open, and we got nothing on the bonnet. Got some lights there and the retractable headlights, which are extra headlights. Yeah, so I just love that baby face. Yeah, and the retractable headlights go up when it's nighttime or when it's raining, extra headlights. And looking at the top, with the roof down, just nothing, just black leather and plastic. Yeah, so moving on to the interior, I just love those gauges there. Really simple and really nice. And the rest of the interior is just pretty simple. Nothing really much to talk about in the interior. Nothing much you get, but what you do get, I heard works really well. I have been in one of these cars, except I actually went in the NB, not the NA. And the steering wheel, just nice and simple, nice and black. No Mazda logo. Oh, sorry, I thought we had to change the HUD. Listen to the sound of it. Just that 1600cc, I believe it's a 1600cc 4-cylinder engine. Yeah, that's what it is, so not too much of an engine, but I guess that's alright, because this was designed just to be a simple, good looking, sort of good looking, fun to drive convertible. Yeah, just a simple, good looking convertible. Well, I wouldn't say, well, It is pretty gorgeous for a convertible back then, but now it's not the most gorgeous convertible. Definitely nowhere near as gorgeous as the 458 Spider, but back then, like I said, it was gorgeous. So just a simple, gorgeous, fun to drive little convertible. This is what the MX-5 designed to be. And now it's nighttime, so yes, the retractable headlights have gone up, which means the baby's awake, because this is the baby MX-5. And the gauges and the middle of the interior have gone green, which I love. I just love the green colour of those gauges. Just really, it really stands out the interior, but does not really stand out the exterior. But that's okay. Oh, we did change the set. We didn't get to change the settings. I should have changed it back then. But anyway, so I don't know, this is awkward. So this does handle really well. Not the best steering we've got. I wouldn't say understeer like an all-wheel drive, but we do have not the best amount of grip. We've got really good handling, definitely not the best amount of speed. But that's okay, like I said. The MX-5 is not designed to be a super, extremely fast sports car like the Ferrari 458 Spider or anything like that. It was just designed to be what I said back then. Little, simple, little fun to drive sports car. Convertible sports car. And convertibles, any convertibles are fun to drive. Except for the Opel convertible. That thing looks ugly. That thing just looks ugly as excuse my language there, but just maybe I'll beep it off.
You have arrived at your destination.
So anyway, this is awkward. Just not really much to say about this car because it's just really simple and it was really popular. So we just drive around Castelletto and then we move on to the next car, basically. So we really got to say. So this is a really good small convertible, and because it's so cheap, and if I could drive, I would consider having this car. I'm dead serious. But if I were more richer, yes, I would have the newer one, because this is actually my second favourite MX-5. The newer one's my favourite, and still like the look of the interior and exterior. Still like the way this thing drives. It would have really been hard to sustain all this good stuff in the MX-5, but they nailed it. They really did. And I have a feeling that's going to be hard when or if they make the NE the 5th generation one. So, oh, sorry, I didn't know what happened. The video just sort of cut off. But anyway, that's no problem because we had just about finished the test drive anyway. And then I just remembered we forgot to take a look at the stats of this car. So we'll quickly take a look at them now before moving on to the NB. So we got a speed of 4.6, quite a slow speed, but like I said, that's okay for simple little convertible. Still, you get the wind in your head, it's fun to drive. But you get decent handling of 5.9, 13% more than the speed, so it should have decent handling. And you get acceleration and launch of 5.6 to 5.8, that's decent enough to make up for the speed, I guess, but you get really good braking of 6.7, and that's really good for a slow, old sports car. And I'm actually really surprised about that. Okay, so we got 116 horsepower, so yeah, not the biggest amount of horsepower, but you'd expect this thing to have about 100 horsepower or 90, so that's good, I guess. And you get 100 pound-foot of torque, so about the same amount of power and torque. You get 2,200, weighs 2,200 pounds, so it's actually slightly heavier than it looks, surprisingly. And you get 51% of the weight on the front, which is the front. Okay, so looking at the NB, so you get a speed of 5.2, so it's a bit faster, about 6% faster. Get a handling 6.4, 12% more than speed, like on the NA, decent handling for the speed. And just like on the NA, good acceleration and launch make up for the slow speed. And again, just like on the NA, good braking. Really good braking of 7.6. So that's pretty good. And now let's look at the other specs. So we got 178 horsepower, so quite a bit more power. Well, this is the Mazda Speed version of the NB, and this was the last NB ever made. 166 pound-foot of torque, so again about the same amount of power and torque. And you get 2,500 pounds, so again quite heavier than it looks, and you get 52% of the weight on the front. So let's just hop into it, take a look at the interior and exterior, and take it for a test drive. Okay, so let's come out there, and just like we always do, looking in photo mode. So starting off the back, of course, you get those nice little tail lights, unlike on the NA, which are slightly smaller, and you don't get in that sort of boundary, and you get them just 3 lights together, put together. And at the bottom you get that one exhaust pipe down there, just the one exhaust pipe alone. Get the MX-5 badge there instead of the Mazda badge or the Miata badge, and you get the Mazda Speed badge there instead of the Miata badge. And moving on to the side, so it's a bit like, you would say maybe it's a couple of inches longer, not sure, but the door is tiny bit longer, and the door handle is slightly bigger because you don't get that metal door handle, you just get that sort of dummy door handle, I would like to call it, which is kind of sad because I slightly prefer the metal door handles. Yeah, because there are one part of the side I preferred on the NA, which is the door handle, and one part of the side of the NB, which I slightly prefer than the NB, which is the rims. And looking at the front, instead of getting that sort of baby look, just like on the NA, you get that sort of kid look, the smiling look. You get the 3 lights as the headlights, just like the tail lights, just different colour. The Mazda badge there, and the radiator grille, that nice smiling radiator grille of a kid. Nice smiling of a cheeky kid. I don't know, that's just a way to explain it. So looking at the interior, so get a more upgraded interior, Mazda badge on the steering wheel, and you get the slightly smaller gauges, but you get white gauges. And looking at the side, so the air conditioning vents I don't really like as much as the NA for some reason, I don't know. Sorry about that, that was a text. And yeah, the center console, you get an aluminium center console. Oh, let's just listen to the sound first. Okay, so about the same sound, still that 1600cc engine, just gotta change the HUD. Okay, so let's drive. So yeah, it does look quite good at the side. Probably just as good as the NA, because like I said, one part of the side I prefer of the NA, which is the door handle, and one part of the side of the NA I prefer is the door handle, and one part of the side of the NB I prefer is the rims, because you don't get those white plastic-like rims, you get those silver aluminium rims. Yes, and it's the same thing with the interior. There are 1 or 2 things I prefer about the interior of the NA, 1 or 2 things I prefer about the interior of the NB, which is quite weird. Like, for example, that aluminium center console, we nearly spun out there. But I just gotta say, like, this handling, this is 12% more than the speed, because if the handling's quite 10% more than speed, then you're gonna handle this car pretty well. But it's actually not as well as you'd think. And they both the NA and NB have a bit of understeering, which is quite sad. And they're not even all-wheel drive. But that's alright, I guess. And as I was saying, like, about the center console, the center aluminium console of this is just like sort of what you get on the Mazda 2, made in the same year as this, the 2005 Mazda 2, or about the older Mazda BT50 pickups, I don't know. But like, this aluminium center console I slightly prefer than the center console in the NA, because it's just all black. But the part of the interior of the NA I prefer is how, like, as you can see, the numbers on the gauges and the middle go red when it's raining or at night. Well, the numbers are always red on the gauges. They should be the numbers just black, not red all the time. That just doesn't really make sense. So the aluminium center console on the part of the interior the part of the interior I prefer on the NB is the aluminium center console, and that's pretty much it, and that you get the Mazda badge on the steering wheel. And the part of the interior of the NA I prefer is slightly prefer how the gauges and center console go green, and I prefer the air conditioning vents, because the air conditioning vents on this compared to the NA look half-ass. So they're, if you know what I mean, they're like, so just like, so on the NA and NB, the NA and NB have different features, have some different features. Some the features are different, some are the same. Some things I like better on the NA, some things I like better on the NB. Like the interior of the NB, I prefer the aluminium center console and the Mazda logo on the steering wheel. What I prefer on the NA is the gauges and numbers going green and the air conditioning vents. But I think with the gauges itself, I prefer them on both this and the NA, except for the ones on this are red. So now we move on to the NC. Alright, so here we are in the NC. So yeah, this is a bit different to both the other two, because this one in the game at least is not a convertible, but you can get this a convertible. This is just with the hardtop roof. So anyway, let's take a look at it. So this is a track toy, unlike a JDM. So we got speed of 5.3, about like probably about the same speed as the NB. Got a handling 6.0, so not as decent handling as the NA and NB. So the handling slightly less than the speed, slightly less than the speed compared to the NA and NB, you know what I mean? Only 7% more than speed, unlike more than 10. And the acceleration and launch are pretty decent for the slow speed, but probably not as good as the NB, but probably as good as the NA. And the braking, yeah, again, really good braking for the speed, but because of the speed, the braking is slightly better on the NB. And this is about 1% more than the braking on the NA, and the NA is only 4.6, so it's slightly better on the NA too. But just because of comparing the speed and the braking, slightly better on the NA. The decent amount of braking is slightly better on the NA. So you get 167 horsepower, get about 10 more horsepower on the NB, because that NB is the Mazda speed version. But anyway, you get 140 pound-foot of torque, so 27 less torque than power, unlike on the other two. You get just about 2,500 pounds, so about the same weight as the NB, and you get 51% of the weight on the front, just like on the NA, I believe. Was it 41%? I don't know. But yeah, why do we do that? We're already in the car. Yeah, we're actually already in the car. Why would we do that? So let's just hop into it. Take a look in the interior and exterior, just like we did in the other two, and seeing how it has evolved. See if any changes are the same on the NA and NB. So yeah, starting off the back, so you get the Mazda logo there, and you also get, you can see the seats from the back window, which actually look pretty good, because this is the non-convertible version. And you get, like, again, just like on the NA, like, they brought the feature back with the two lights in the light boundary, and the MX-5 badge and Mazda badge there. And you get the two exhaust pipes down here, so they brought that feature back from the NA, so which is pretty good. Some of these features are brought back from the NA, which weren't surprisingly brought back from the NB. And so the side, and we've even got that metal door handle again, except it's bigger and it's not like the one on the NA where you like need your fingers to open it. Just like a couple of your fingers to open it. That's what it looks like on the NA. But you get a metal door handle, and I like the metal door handles. I really do. They look good. But looking at the side, this doesn't look as good as the side of the NB or ND, because it's not the roofless one. And the rims, they brought the white rims back. They brought the white rims back, except, yeah, they are still bigger, because the ones on the NA are tiny compared to these ones. And get the never mind. And the front, so we got the, now on the NA we sort of had the baby face look, the NB we had the kid look, now on this we sort of have an adult or teenager look, I don't know. Yeah, so we got a bigger Mazda badge and just regular headlights, all I gotta say. So they just upgrade the headlights and they've upgraded the interior, so you get, so they brought back how you get, because the dials are about the same size as the NA, or maybe slightly bigger, because the ones on the ND were smaller and they were white, and the rest of the interior more upgraded. And still the air conditioning vents aren't as good as the ones on the NA, but the steering wheel looks slightly better, so let's listen to it. Still the same noise, so they haven't upgraded the engine too much, but they just like having the same engine, because they really nailed it with the engine in the NA. Why did I do that? I just picked the wrong thing. I was supposed to turn that off. Silly me. My bad. Okay, so just take this along the street. And as you can see, we have quite good launch on this. We actually have quite good launch. Is it me, or is it sound slightly better than the one on the ND? Sorry. But yeah, it actually drives really well. It doesn't really drive like the ND, probably because this is a track toy. And because it's non-convertible. And it actually feels different to drive. And yeah, this may sound embarrassing, but I did have this car, but then I got rid of it. But then I started liking the MX-5 more, because I started researching about them. Now, I did like the MX-5, but when the new one came out, and I researched more about them, I started to like them even more. And so yeah, the interior, so I like those gauges. They're about, just like they brought back the bigger gauges from the NA, except they look slightly bigger, and a more better looking steering wheel, bigger Mazda logo, and you get a little bit of cruise control on the sides, which are, if you don't know what that is, just the buttons on the side. But on the center console, I'm not sure about the center console, whether I slightly prefer, I do prefer the center console. I don't know, I think I prefer the center console on both this and the NA, because it's like, the center console is sort of the same, it's sort of like rounded, it's not aluminium, and it's sort of, except the one on the NA is more darker. This is more grey, the one on the NA is more black. Either that, or it's just that we were driving the NA at night, and maybe it's the exact same colour. But I think maybe I do slightly prefer the center console of the NB than on the NC, because I said I slightly prefer the center console of the NB than I do on the NA, which means I also slightly prefer the center console of the NB than the NC, because I like the center console on the NC and NA the same. So this is driving really well. I'm actually quite impressed with this thing. And the thing about MX-5s is that when you upgrade them, you can actually give them an engine swap with the rotor, which is, I believe, the... Oh, damn it, we just crashed. Damn. I believe the rotor is like from the old early 90s Mazda race car, I believe. Yeah, now we'll be coming to Forza 6, so I'm quite excited for that. So that's good. So we just go back to the HUD, because I'm really excited to review and drive the ND, which is my favourite MX-5, because that thing just looks gorgeous. It really does. Inside and out just looks gorgeous, because that's half the reason I've started liking the MX-5 again, because before that I actually got the non-convertible version, the NA, the 1994 version. I gave that a rotary swap, but then I got rid of it when the convertible came out. So here we go, the ND, the latest and greatest MX-5 to me. So let's quickly look at the specs. We've got a speed of 5.5, so it's the fastest MX-5 out of them, but not by much though. It's only 9% faster than the NA, so they haven't upgraded the speed that much in 25 years, but that's alright. Decent handling, 6.4, only 9% more than the speed, just like the NC, not too much more than the speed. Decent acceleration launch for the speed, and again, good braking. Just like on all MX-5s, really good braking for a slow, simple little sports car. And it's just as good as the braking on the NC. We got 155 horsepower, so we do have 20 less horsepower than on the NB, but 10 less horsepower than the NC, which is quite surprising. So they've changing the speed, then powers, because this is actually the Miata. So I bought the Miata back from the 90s, which is good. 148 pound-foot of torque. Again, just like on all of them, same amount of power and torque. And we don't need to worry about the weight and font, because I just really want to hop into this car and take a look at it. And yeah, as you can see, I'm starting to get better at commentaries, like I'm starting to speak more clearly, more louder. Because I'm very slowly starting to get used to making commentaries. So anyway, starting at the back, we got the 2 exhaust pipes down there, but none on the other side, I guess that's good. No more than 2 exhaust pipes on the MX-5. Sometimes has to be a single one on each side, sometimes double. And we got those nice shaped headlights, so got sort of like a penis with one testy. Why did I say that? That's just what it looks like, but I guess that looks good. I'm just kidding, it doesn't look like that. Just one's a light, one's the indicator. Or maybe the ones at the bottom of the indicators, but that looks good. They've changed the tail light instead of adding 2 or 3 lights together, or just the 2 lights in the boundary. So anyway, got a side. It is a couple of inches longer, but I just really like looking at that side because the roof and seats and the side just looks so modern compared to the old one, just compared to the first one. And yeah, what I do like is how the rear view mirrors, they've bought it like similar shape to the NA, round and small, just that it's not the same color as the body, because this is red, but the rear view mirrors are black. And we got the black rims there, and we got finally we got a ceramic brake behind it, which kind of looks like sort of like one of those blades, those sharp blades that spin like on a cutter, on a razor cutter, on a saw cutter. Yeah, that's what it looks like to me, ceramic brake. And we got that gorgeous look at the front. No, this is not a baby face look, or a kid face look, or a teenage look. To me, that just looks like the look of a ferocious wild dog or puppy. Yeah, and I actually really like that. Some people may not really really like that, or probably not sure, but I like that. And just the look at those headlights, that frown on the little cute frown on the headlights. And the Ray-A grille, smiling Ray-A grille, just like on the NB. And maybe like on the NC, but just, it's bigger, of course. And the Mazda logo at the front. And we did this on the NA, but looking at the interior from the top, you can see we got more technology, because this is newer. Okay, so looking at the interior, so we got changed the gauges. They haven't had 5 gauges, they've only had 3, but on the side we got that screen there, so they finally had sat-nav. And that red part, just the same color as the exterior. I really like that red part of the door handle. And they've keep on upgrading the steering wheel. The NB, they upgrade by having the Mazda logo. The NC, they upgrade by having cruise control. This, they are by having more aluminium and more cruise control, which looks good. And the air conditioning vents look good again. Maybe even slightly better than the ones on the NA. Not half-assed like on the NB and NC, which is good. Really good. And you don't really get that much technology in the middle apart from the screen, but let's listen to it. Still sounds pretty much the same, so they haven't upgraded the sound. And once again, forgot to turn the units back on. So yeah, I just love driving this thing. Like, I do have another one of these upgraded, but not to a rotor engine. I don't really think this is suitable in a rotor engine, because I only think the older ones are suitable in a rotor engine. I don't know. Because with the NC, because I did say before that I had the 1994 NA, which was the non-convertible version before the convertible version came out, the 1990, and then I got rid of it. We had that in a rotor engine, and I also got rid of the 2013 MX-5, which was the NC. I had that in a rotor engine too. But then I bought it back. Half because I started liking the MX-5 again, half because so I could use it for the video. Okay, so this is just really fun to drive. If I had, like, seriously, I'm gonna be honest with you, if I had 50 grand lying around, I would buy this thing. It's definitely one of the world's best two-seater roadsters in the world, and one of the best Japanese sports cars. Of course, you can't really compare this to the Skyline, no way, but I think both this and the Skyline are good. A lot of you would disagree that, no, the Skyline is heaps better, but I just think they're both good. I like them because the MX-5, yes, is slower and less powerful, but it's a convertible and you get the wind in your hair. Would be the Skyline, yes, is slightly more fun to drive in the game, but the MX-5 would be probably just as fun to drive in real life, maybe even a tiny bit funner because it's a convertible. And you use it to convertibles to impress the girls. And I guess a Skyline would impress girls too. I don't know, but I like Japanese sports cars. And even the Skyline, they've changed that a lot because when they made the GTR, the supercar version. But they'll never make, because the Skyline used to be, the R32 was kind of slow compared to the R35. But the R32 is about slightly faster than the NA version of this. But they'll never make this a supercar because it'll always be a nice simple fun to drive convertible that is not too powerful and it's not too fast. Just the adequate amount of power you really need. You really need just for a cheap, fun to drive sports car. So that's a really good thing. That's how to conclude the video. The MX-5 is what you should buy if you want something to impress girls, because it's cheap, it's simple, and it drives well, really well. Because I've been in an MX-5, but it was actually the ND I went on. Oh, didn't mean to press that.
Hey,
so we'll just conclude it.
Let's fix her up.
Yeah, so JDM icons, and should we get into Track Toys version? I don't know. But yeah, anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. Thank you so much. And yes, if you like this video, please show me some feedback in the comments, because I really need to know if you enjoy this series, and maybe suggest some ideas. What cars would you like me to compare? I'm thinking about doing it with the M3 next. Yeah, so tell me what you think about this series. Leave a like, maybe even subscribe if you want to see more. Really mean lots. And also, I forgot to mention that with Forza 6, I'm planning on making a commentary series for that, and it's a surprise. I don't even know what it is yet. And I'm planning on making a commentary series on project cars. But yeah, stay tuned for that, and stay tuned for more episodes on this series if you're really liking it. So once again, thank you guys for watching. Show some feedback in the comments, leave a like, and I will see you guys in the next commentary. Okay, bye bye.